All right. Are we live? I think we're live. Hello, everybody. Oh, I love that. Jackie says she's got lavender tea that she's using to relax. How are you guys? It's so good to see you. Casey said it's her first live session, so I think we are here. Can everybody see me? Hi, you guys. Yay, we're live. How are you? How is this day after the eclipse treating you? It's been kind of a crazy couple days, has it not? Shelly says she's sleepy. Girl, that's why I've got tea. Literally, I was like, I gotta have some tea right now. But you guys always give me a nice energetic boost, so hopefully I can do that for you tonight too. We've got some yucky tummies and some tireds and some shitty pickles, and we got all that stuff happening. Well, I'm here, so hopefully that will make the end of your day a little bit better than the beginning of your day, maybe. It's so good to see you guys today. Paulette says it's her first sab class, but it's going in and out. So hopefully you'll be able to get the technology is happening on your side to stay with us. I see you. Yeah, you know what? It's been a weird, has it not been a weird couple of weeks? In fact, I would go so far as to say, I think it's been weird since about the 1st of July, is what I'm going to say. I think we've been in just a challenging time together. And part of what I want to talk about tonight, we have so much to talk about tonight. And I do want to update you on Zoe. I want to thank you for just the sweet messages and the energy that you've been sending. It has been such a balm for us, you know, truly healing medicine for her and for me. And Zoe says thank you, because when I posted, I read all of the comments to her that you wrote. And she kept saying, you know, I know them. And I said, no, I know. And they know you too. And they're very worried about you. So it was very sweet. She really felt like one of the sisters. And that was huge for us. She's recovering slowly. You know, the challenge now will become, how do we work with this condition in the longer term? So the medications that they were talking about using for her have side effects I'm not comfortable with, to be honest. Choices that I don't want to make for her at such a young age, and so we're working through that. I actually have a shaman friend of mine, actually, because I can't go in and do ayahuasca journey right now. There's too much going on and I have to be too focused. But a shaman friend of mine actually went in and did ayahuasca journey for me this weekend. And I have a call with her tomorrow to hear how it went. So she was willing to go in and journey on my behalf, which is a very powerful thing for someone to do for you. So she worked with ayahuasca this weekend for me and for Zoe, and then tomorrow she will let us know what she learned from the mother about how for us to work together. So anyway, she needed a blood transfusion because she has ulcerative colitis, and she had severe bleeding, and so she lost so much blood. She's only 39 pounds. So a little tiny person like her, I mean, literally her arms are just, you know, but you know, I was tiny too at her age. We're just sort of tiny folks. But she lost so much blood that she had to have a blood transfusion. Fortunately, she only had to have 1 unit. The doctors thought she would need to have 4 units. So she only had to infuse blood for about 4 hours as opposed to the 16 hours that they were telling me. So I know it's very hard, but you know what? I will tell you, I'm supremely optimistic. But when I, you know, she had routine labs done because she was getting ready to go in for colonoscopy. And my doctor called me in the middle of the night. She said, you know, the results are in, and you have to get her to a hospital, an emergency room within the next 2 hours for a transfusion. And I don't want to scare you, but you absolutely have no choice, and you have about 2 hours. So I went through that. Thank you for seeing me. It has not been easy, but it's, you know, what's funny is I have such a sense of calm and such a sense of peace around the entire thing. I don't know where that calm is coming from, except spiritual training. Because moments like that are going to happen. You know, life is life. And I was just writing this whole thing about Mabon, actually, because before every high holiday, I write a big long narrative thing, and I send it off to my whole team, and I send it off to just everybody involved in Sage Goddess to sort of set the tone. I want everybody to understand what the holidays are, and I want to sort of share my perspective. So I just sent this long email off this afternoon about Mabon. And I was talking about how it's always an opportunity when you are in these moments where you are literally caught between light and shadow, thank you for that, Nicole. What happened to Zoe should never happen to a child. It's one thing for an adult to have a blood transfusion. It's one thing for an adult to have an IV in their arm for 4 days. It's another thing for, an 8-year-old who has little tiny itty bitty arms and legs. So you pull it together and you get it together, and the medicine of the season, the medicine of Mabon and the equinox in general is, the balance, right? You only know ease by its opposite, which is struggle. You only know beauty by its opposite, which is ugliness, right? You only know happiness by its opposite, which is sorrow. The opposites in our universe define each other, don't they? I mean, you can't have one without the other. So when people say, well, why did that happen to me? Or why does this happen to me? We were in the hospital, and I remember it was late one night, and neither of us could sleep. And she looked up at me, because I laid in the bed with her the whole time she was there. And she looked up at me and she said, why is this happening to me? And I said, it's happening to you because you chose this life, and because I do believe you're going to be a healer. In fact, I would go so far as to tell you I think you're going to grow up one day and find the cure for what you have. And so I'm very sorry that you have to do this. But I'm also telling you that as a woman in my line, you're not going to get a chance to grow up slowly. You're going to have to grow up real quick, and you're going to have to get these skills, because I do believe that you're here to heal other people, and so am I. And if it makes you feel any better, I walk just as difficult a path, and I explained to her that with my MS, I go and I have an IV once a month, and I have to sit in the hospital all day, and how scary that is. And so just talking to her about, the fact that she knows I have my own battles too, and they're not exactly the same, but they're similar. And so the beautiful part is she knows she's not alone. Because if you have to go through shit, at least you don't have to go through shit alone, right? So she will be. She is already in her own right, I think, far more powerful than I was at 8, because I didn't have health struggles that early. Mine started more in my late teenage years, and so she's just getting started earlier. And amen. My only ask is, can I please have the skills and the strength that I need to parent her well? Please give me the skills and the strength that I need to parent her well. So, yes, I do. I will say this. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I do think she picked the right mom. There's so many ways in which I look at her path and her challenges, and I think I'm ready. Am I excited about it? No, not necessarily, but I am ready. So, that's right. That's a beautiful quote, actually. So here we are. So this is all, by the way, very relevant to what we're going to be doing tonight, because tonight is about releasing. Tonight is about letting go. And I want to tell you, thank you so much, by the way, for all the sweet comments. I felt really blessed. I felt honored, actually, to be there by her side for that whole process, because that's a gift. Not everybody gets to do that. You know what I mean? Some parents can't sit there for 4 days. I was blessed to be able to do that. I have a husband who helped me take care of my other child. I have people here who are able to help at work. So, what a blessing for me that I could actually sit there in bed with her for 4 days and never move, and not take a shower and not leave and not, just eat whatever hospital food and just sit there with her the whole time, which is what I did. And so we go, right? But I do think that all of those, every time you go through a hardship, it's an opportunity for you to deepen your compassion. And there's not enough compassion in the world. And I'm not saying that I want people to go through hardship, but I do want people to develop a greater sense of compassion. And I do want people to have an understanding that they're going through hardship, but they're not alone, and everyone has their own hardship. Mine doesn't look like yours, but it doesn't mean that mine is any less than yours or yours is any less than mine. We're both walking a difficult path in different ways. Stinky Pickles is right, Scara. So thank you for seeing me. So tonight, here's what I've got for you. You ready? And it's really cool, because out of preparation for tonight, we're going to do a ritual tonight. We're going to talk a little bit more about the manifestation cycle. I want to respond to some of your questions from earlier in the group. And I want to make time at the end for questions that you may not even know that you have yet, right? So I want to make time for that too. But one of the things that came out of my preparation for today that I'm super excited about, I'm going to float the idea by you just to see if you like it. And then if you think this is a good idea for next month for New Moon, I'm excited about it, but I would love to have your perspective. Thank you for that. Jennifer's admiring my tank top. This is Melodia Designs. She designs belly dance clothing, but she also designs really cute tank tops. It's kind of fun, isn't it? So you can find it on her website if you like it. It's one of my favorites. I was helping Brooklyn paint her house, and look what I did. So it's been christened by house paint. In any case, thank you for admiring my tank top. So what we came up with for next month for the new moon ritual, are you ready? I want to go and fill this classroom, it's a huge classroom, with helium balloons. You ready? You have to go with me on the journey for just a second. I want to, I want to fill the room with helium balloons, and then I want to do online and in person. So if you're online, you're going to have to go and get a helium balloon wherever you, Party City, or you can blow up your own or whatever. But it needs to be able to fly away, okay? And what we're going to do together in the ritual for new moon, if you like this, is we're going to write. We're going to do 2 balloons, okay? One balloon, you're going to release something that is no longer serving you, and we're going to let the balloons go together, okay? And so in the ritual, you're going to write down what you're releasing, and we're going to bless it, and we're going to anoint it, and then we're going to roll it and tie it to one balloon. And then in the second balloon, we're going to send up our intention for the next lunar cycle. And then everybody who's here in person, we're going to finish the ritual. We're all going to go outside into the parking lot together. We're going to release our balloons together all at once and watch them fly away. We may even be able to keep you guys live. In fact, we might just do live from the parking lot so that you can be releasing your balloons while we're releasing our balloons. I think that would be a really beautiful new moon ritual. So if you like that, it sounds like you like it. Yeah, so Cynthia's not super comfortable with the environmental impact. I thought about that too. We're not sending up that many balloons, so I you know, from my side, I feel okay about it. But if you want to do something else, you know, maybe take a leaf and bury it, or you can take a stone or a leaf and take it to the beach and release it to the ocean. However you choose to do your part of it, I think it'd be really fun and really beautiful. The reason I want to do the balloons is I want to sort of have a moment with everybody where we're just silent and watching. You know, just silent and watching the energy of all of those energies being released and all of those intentions being sent up. Yeah, you can do paper lanterns if you like that better. You absolutely can do that too. Diane's saying it'll sorry about the sirens. There's quite a few out there. Sending love and blessings to all the paramedics who are driving by right now. Yeah, so maybe you can find an alternative that works for you, right? I mean, if you are in the city and you have no access to anything, you can write on paper and bury it. Like that's a very sound releasing ritual, actually. That's a beautiful one. So anyway, I just kind of like all of that and want to figure out how we can do that. I'm glad it's resonating with you too. Yeah, and you can burn your paper. Davinia says she might burn the paper. Burning is fantastic, actually. You know, releasing to fire, releasing to water, releasing to air, releasing to the earth. I love to bury things. I don't know why, but I love surrendering to the earth. That just feels really, really good to me. Yeah, the paper lanterns with candles would call out the fire department, probably so. And we have to be mindful of that. I mean, they're literally right here, so I do think about that too. So fun, right? Yeah, and Julie said she'll spread the ashes from her smudge bundles. How beautiful that is. Aw, you guys are so sweet. I really, really appreciate it. Casey, it's a great question. She says, is there a benefit to burying it instead of burning it? In my experience, Casey, no. I think however you choose to release what isn't serving you, it doesn't really matter. What I tell people is find the element you really love to work with the most. Some people just love to work with fire and love to burn thing. I've always done that. With any releasing ritual, I've always burned. So, but I'm heavy fire in my charts. That's probably why I like that so much more. I've never been like an air releasing person. That's why I think the balloon idea is going to be fun for me, because I haven't released to the element of air before. But I also love the idea, and I love the process and the practice of releasing to the ocean. When I lived in San Francisco, I lived right on the edge of the bay. Like literally, our house was across the street from the water. And so I used to go and send things off into the water. It was flipping freezing water up there, so I didn't hang out there too long. And it's not like a beach, it's rocky, right, the bay, the San Francisco Bay, but I would still release into the water, and it was absolutely beautiful. So this is a new way, I think, for us to, I love that. Tara says, I'm a burner. Tara's my soul sister, she gets it, she's a burner. I'm like, I need a bumper sticker that says, I'm a burner. I love that so much. That's absolutely right. So all the suggestions that you're seeing from your sisters are alternatives that you could use if we do the balloon ritual and it doesn't resonate with you. Because I want you to do something that you're going to love and enjoy. So that is one thing that came out of my preparation for today as I get ready to burn something. That's beautiful. Elaine says you could write on a white feather and release that to the air. And you absolutely can do that. And I love the idea of a white feather. For new moon, actually, it might be nice to release it to write in like a sparkle pen, maybe on a crow feather. If any of you have crow feathers, because crow, you know, is so deeply aligned with the new moon. So I would actually love to see you use a crow feather for that. And they're very common too. And one of the things, if you guys want, one of the things I could do is put together a kit to make it easy. Like I could do a black feather with a sparkle pen and a couple of other things if you wanted me to put together like an air releasing kit as an alternative. Although you probably have black feathers and pens and everything that you need, so you probably don't need a kit. But if you wanted something like that, I could try and, like Samantha's got dozens of crow feathers, so, and Elaine's got them. So if you guys have all of that, then I probably don't even need to put anything together. You probably have everything that you would need for that. So I'm actually just going to smudge for just 10 more seconds. There's so much residual energy from the eclipse, and I just want to give it a chance to breathe out. One of the things I would love to invite you to do if it's not, yeah, you know, I'll put together something small. I mean, super small and cheap. I'm not talking about anything elaborate, but just for those of you who can't find it, I don't have a pen to write myself a little note, but I'll remember. And then those of you who have your own feathers can use your own feathers. Yeah, I mean, there's the idea of the bubble too, you know, so we'll figure it out. This thing is going to be fun. So I love the idea that we each choose our sort of our element and our modality. So one of the things I want to do right now, you guys do this, right? At least once a day, do you smudge your phone? I do so much on my phone that, you know, I have to, my little baby's on there. I have to smudge my phone at least twice a day. So just smudging my phone. And the other thing you always have to smudge is your hands. And you need to sit long enough for the smoke to come up through your fingers, yeah? Just like that. And I smudge both sides of my hands. So just take a moment right now. Smudge your hands, smudge your phone. Call yourself into present time. Yeah, hands and phone. Your hands are touching stuff all day long. They're picking up so much energy. Your hands are like little transmitters. So do your hands. I'm going to do my feet really quick because, again, it's the stuff you don't think about. Here's my little foot. I'm going to let it go through my toes. Look how dirty my feet are from walking around barefoot all day. And then out it goes. I'm going to burn a little bit of Palo Santo for healing because we need that too. So just calling in energies of healing right now, clearing any vibrations of illness or sickness that have attached themselves to you or to your spaces, to me or to my spaces. My feet are always dirty. I don't like shoes, so. And literally sometimes I don't have shoes. Like I've had to go into dinner in the supermarket and stuff barefoot because I'll get there and I don't have any shoes, and it's like, well, shit. My kids are always like, Mom, where are your shoes? They're gonna grow up one day and just say, my mom never wore shoes. But I live in Southern California for a reason. I just hate them. I call shoes feet jail. It makes my feet feel like they've done something wrong when I have to put them in little shoes. Okay, very, very good. So we have smudged. The energy is nice and clear. I'm going to just do a quick run through with my wand. I'm just doing all the ritual things right now that I've been waiting to do, but I wanted to do them with you. So this is my Shungite wand. So I'm calling in purification. I'm asking that any energies that are stuck, any low vibrations from the eclipse activity, that all of that energy be transmuted and removed from my space. I clear that energy from my altar. I clear all of that energy from my phone, clearing all of that energy from my hands and my arms, clearing it all the way around. And so these are the steps that you have to take after a high holiday like that, where there's so much, you know, energy swirling in the field. You want to make sure that you have cleared and that you have released it. And so that is released. Well, the wands, so the wand guy might be in Denver. I'm not sure. He's for sure coming to Tucson. And so when that time comes, if you want a wand from him, that's the kind of thing that you do with Denver and Tucson insiders. I'm for sure going to be bringing wands home from Denver. I don't know what they're going to look like yet. So if you're in the market for a wand, you should probably do the Denver Insider. You have 7 days left. Do you guys know that? to shop the Denver Insider. I do shut it off, and I do not allow later orders because it's too much logistics for me to handle. So you have until August 31st, I believe, to purchase the Denver Insider, and then I go and I find all the cool magical things. Yeah, so it just depends. I mean, I don't know what wands I'm going to find, and I don't know how much they're going to be, and so, but I always find things in Denver that are crazy amazing. I know there's new vendors coming this year that I've never seen before, and then a lot of my regular people are coming, and so it's going to be really, really good. We're primarily buying from Madagascar, from Brazil, and from some parts of China. We're buying a little bit from Russia. Gosh, where else are we going? We have multiple meetings with Brazil, which is all of your quartz, your generators, your big spheres, your all of the Vogels and the wands and things like that. And so we are going to be. We don't actually know our firm dates in Denver yet. I'm thinking it's going to be from about the 6th to the 16th, roughly. I think we're going to do full moon ritual on the 5th. Yeah. So here's the thing. So I'm going to be going live probably 5 or 6 times a day in the classroom groups, okay? So in GemWise, Arrow Magic, and Magical Sabbatical. So you guys are going to get all kinds of behind-the-scenes conversations, interviews. I'm going to be showing you all the stones, so you have so much to look forward to. There are John of God vendors sometimes, so sometimes I'm able to get, like one of you did the Insider, and you bought enough for me to get you a magician necklace. One person did that already. And so I'm going to be on the hunt for a magician necklace for her. And they do have those wholesale there. Now, again, they don't have them in huge quantity, but one of the reasons, by the way, people do the Denver Insider is you get to shop with my discount. I use the amount that you spend with my wholesale account. So you get a lot more for your money than you would if I was shopping retail. I don't do that. I mean, the whole benefit is that you get to let me shop for you, and I get to shop with a wholesale account. And so it just depends. This is the magician necklace, and mine is in gold, which I think the retail price of this one is $400 or $450. And then they have sterling silver ones, right? So if you like sterling silver, for these necklaces I just always wear gold, but some people like sterling silver better. So you can do Tucson or Denver. They're different shows, and so I find different things at different places, but I wanted to make sure that you guys knew all about that. So it depends. Usually they're about 30% off for me, the jewelry is, because a lot of times I don't do bigger discounts than that, because the jewelry is handmade. You can tell these pieces are handmade. And they do actually take the crystals to the Casa, to John of God in Brazil. So Tucson is about 10 times the size of Denver, but Denver's huge. But Tucson is the entire city. And so that's why, I mean, Denver, it's spread out a little bit, and it's not quite as big. It still takes me 10 days to get through the Denver show, if that gives you any kind of perspective on size. It takes me 10 days to get through everything. In Tucson, if I went through everything, it would take me about 3 weeks if I really got to see every single thing. I usually can't stay longer than 10 days because I have kids. So you can put requests in the notes. I don't always know what I'm going to find. So what I say is put your requests in, because I read everything. Okay, I mean, you wouldn't believe. This is why you have to do it by the 31st, because I literally go through, I'm reading all the comments, I'm printing everything out, I'm making a spreadsheet. This person wants this, these people want this. And so that's why we have to get everything wrapped up by August 31st, so that I have a week to do all of that paperwork and legwork before we actually get on the plane and go. So the wands all depend. And I'll tell you, this particular wand maker is very expensive, but he does all of this himself. I think my wholesale on this one was $500 or $600. And I think if I remember right, my wholesale on this one, my Kuan Yin wand, was about $700 or $800. But again, these things are once in a lifetime, right? The retail on the chalice, which I might be able to get these in Tucson. I don't think I'll be able to get them in Denver, but I might be able to get these in Tucson. I think his retail price on these is $600. But again, it's all quartz, like really thick quartz, beautiful brass. It's got inlaid gemstones. And so I'm going to try to start bringing you some of those bigger, more magical tools, because I know you guys want those things. And again, it's fun for me, especially for my students, because if I could take you there, that would be really fun, but a lot of you can't. And so what I love is being able to shop those things for you and to pass on savings to you too. Truly, truly. That's the whole point of the whole thing. And if you can't shop before, I'm going to bring stuff home and there'll be cool stuff, and don't worry. This is just for people who have like things, you know, that they want. It's sort of like if you were my girlfriend and you just stuck some bucks in my pocket before I went shopping. You know what I mean? Like, just, can you pick up something for me? That's kind of what the Denver Insider is. You know, it's like, it's on a different scale. Field trip, right? I know, it's really, really true. Sage got his credit card. You guys are funny. All right, so tonight we're talking about releasing, and I want to say a few things about releasing before we get into it. We're going to be using, of course, our releasing tea light holder, your releasing perfume, which I hope you loved. One of the things that release perfume has in it is pomegranate, and the reason is that is honoring, that's a nod of the head to Demeter and Persephone, right? Because Demeter had to do the hard work of releasing her daughter Persephone to the underworld when Hades captured her. Yeah, Shannon's asking if they have gemstones like beads and things. Holy, holy, holy. You guys would lose your mind. Yeah, so if you're looking for beads and jewelry and all of that kind of stuff, I mean, it's all there. It's just a matter of how much I get to and the time that I'm there. Yeah, Lisa, I hear that. You know, it's really funny. I'm doing kind of radical self-care right now. Like, I'm drinking a lot of tea, I'm trying to get to bed earlier, I'm eating a lot of soup, like I'm wanting comfort food, and I'm taking it really, really easy right now because I can tell that I have put a lot on my body, and I need to be very kind to myself right now. But you know what? So do you guys. You guys have been through it too. I mean, we all have. You have to take good care of yourself right now. The energy of the eclipse is behind us. That's the good news. So now we're going to move into a phase of more clarity. You know what I mean? That as Mercury goes direct in early September, we're just going to feel a little bit more like ourselves again, and I think we're all just ready for that. Truly ready for that. Yeah, you should go to Tucson once in your lifetime. You really just should. It's something to see. It's not sexy. It's dirty. It's you know, you're in hotel rooms and you're you know, wading through really dirty gemstones, things that haven't been cleaned and all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of gross and dirty, but it's also really fun. And if you don't mind gross and dirty, which I actually love it, by the end of Tucson, I've got, you know, brown, you know, nail beds and stuff, and I've just had my hands and all the things. But that's fun for me. I don't, you know, I think that's a blast. Yeah, Tara, I hear you. I mean, Tara says she's feeling like there's a lot of shadow work already. But remember, what happens, right? After Lammas, we are in harvest season, and harvest season is the season of the shadow. And this eclipse period sure didn't help, you know what I mean? The eclipse just took us and really forced us to dig deeper more quickly than usual. So I will tell you that I would consider right now the unofficial start of shadow season, even though typically we do that work around Mabon and then into Samhain. For me, it's shadow season is in full effect. Well, Cynthia, you may want to wait to tell him about that until later. You know what I mean? I know. Janet said she would need an intervention at the show. Janet, they might cut you off. They might say, have you seen Janet? I can't buy any more today. Okay, so hopefully you loved Release Perfume. I will tell you, the stones in last month's kit are some of my favorites. This tumbled morganite, it's tiny, but it's powerful. Did you feel it? And then that prairie tanzanite, that really beautiful pink tanzanite, how gorgeous is that? It's one of my favorite stones that I've offered, and what's really special is only you guys have it. I only had enough for your kit, so literally, and there's no more of that coming. That was just like a one-time find in South Africa. This was from my South African gemstone vendor. And so they mined it. They mined that prairie tanzanite. They tumbled it. It was all direct from mine to source to me. Didn't change hands. And so the energy of that prairie tanzanite, super clear, super gorgeous. And let me tell you, supreme healer, truly. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do with mine because I only have my one piece. I kept one, okay? I kept the one from my kit. And so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with mine because I almost feel like it's so special that I don't want to keep it. I want to give it to somebody, and I'm trying to figure out who really needs that healing. So this was one of those things with last month's kit where I thought, how special is that to have morganite and prairie tanzanite together? Like probably the rarest love gemstone in the world, and then to sit next to that, one of the rarest healing gemstones, is really, really special. Not to give short shrift to the snowflake and to the amethyst. I mean, of course, they're beautiful and special too. And I think together they make a really beautiful set. Hopefully you like yours too. Yeah, Norma says hers looks like pink opal. Mine kind of does too. It's got a little bit of that fire in it, and there's like little pockets where it's almost clear, and then there's little pockets of like copper I can see in there too. So anyway, I hope you really love that one. Hopefully you loved your art too. This, a lot of people have said that this is the art that they are like framing and putting in their bathroom, that they can look at it every morning and things, because this is such an important message of release, because the more you release, the more space you make for what's new to come into your life, right? Well, that's good. Sharon says she's getting a lot of energy from the snowflake, which makes me really happy. By the way, snowflake obsidian, #1 stone for integrating light and shadow. There is no, literally, I couldn't offer you a better gemstone, except maybe, golden sheen obsidian would be probably slightly better for light and shadow integration of the shadow self. But honestly, that's what snowflake obsidian was made for, in my opinion. So I'm really glad that you enjoyed the kit this month. I'm also working with the Karuna ritual powder tonight. This is my little, mine doesn't have the pretty sticker on it, but if you got this yesterday, then when yours arrives, you can go back and do the ritual again. I'm going to burn a little bit of that right now. And then the candle holder. Do you guys have any questions about supplies and things for tonight? Yeah, you know, it's interesting that you say that about snowflake with nightmares, because I've heard that actually from other people, that they use snowflake obsidian to help with nightmares and dream time, peace around sleep. So you're not the first to tell me that. It's a good reminder though too, because sometimes I forget when customers are asking what they should use for nightmares. And yeah, if you have the Karuna perfume, you can actually light your charcoal and put some of your Karuna perfume on your charcoal disc. And so I'm going to burn a little bit of the Karuna powder, with just a little bit of my releasing perfume. And then the last thing I'm adding is a little gift that I have for you guys tonight, but I need you not to mention this gift to anybody else, because I don't have enough to give it to anyone outside of Sabbatical. I made a perfume for you today called New Cycle. And I made it today because this is the first day of the next 18-month cycle before the next solar eclipse. And so this is bergamot, cedarwood, Roman chamomile, and basil essential oils. And so it's a gift, but we did a minimum purchase with it because it's expensive for us to produce it and bottle it. So you have to spend $20. But if you do spend $20 and you say cycle in your notes, you get a free bottle of this for the next cycle for you. And we made that blend because bergamot actually really helps in moments where, oh, that's so good. Bergamot is really helpful. Well, you know what? If you don't need it right now, it's not your medicine, so don't worry. It's only for, you know, if you feel called to things like that. Never feel pressured to choose anything that I show you, because I really think that everybody gets exactly the tools that they need at exactly the perfect time. But you will love that one. You will love, love, love New Cycle. And what I recommend that you do is start anointing with it every night as we are in this waxing moon phase. Start anointing with it as soon as it comes. And use the energy of that perfume and the waxing moon itself to start to build intensity around the intention that you set last night. That's what you should be doing with that perfume. Yeah, New Cycle is what we need. I don't know about you, but I'm ready. I'm really, really ready for this next cycle. I was so ready to release the last 18 months, and I'm sure you were too. And so if you were, that perfume will be really helpful. I think we probably have enough for the next 24 hours, I would say. It's just while supplies last. And so probably the next 24 hours or 48 hours, that will be available for you. But the code is cycle. And please, please, please don't tell anybody, because I'm sure people in Aromagic and perfumery would love to have it, but I don't have enough. I want to make sure that anybody at Sabbatical who wants it can actually get it. Okay, so here we go. I want to talk to you about, before we begin the ritual, I want to talk to you about how the release tools fit into the manifestation cycle that we started with a couple of months ago. The notes in the New Cycle are bergamot, cedarwood, Roman chamomile, and basil. Bergamot, cedarwood, Roman chamomile, basil. Yeah, it's clean. It's clean, but it's deep, because the cedarwood, you know, the basil hits you right away, and the bergamot hits you. Like, those are sparkling sort of top notes. But that cedarwood, it dries down, and so it comes off as like herbaceous and very clean, but it settles down to a much deeper and a broader base note. So cycle is your note, yeah? Yeah, so you can use your karmic releasing herbs and everything else tonight, but we are doing a formal karmic release ritual with those tools. So stand by. You can either use those tools tonight or you can wait. What I would recommend that you do is you use your sabbatical tools tonight and then save those tools and do a second round ritual with those tools when that comes, because we are going to do a full releasing ritual. Does that make sense? Like a full collective huge releasing ritual. But this one tonight is a little bit different. Are you ready? I'm not doing with you tonight what I'm doing later in a more public way, or with the video, okay? So let me tell you about what the intention is for tonight. We just went through Ask, Believe, Receive over the last 3 months. Now we're here at Release. Next month is Connect. Next month, make sure that you get your tools for next month, because we're doing our first ever Akashic Records meditation as a sabbatical group. I'm taking you into the Akashic Library next month on this night when we gather for class. And so we're using the Connect tools. And so I put together that entire set to help you access the Akashics, the essential oils, the stones, in particular the scolasite. All of those tools are designed to help you facilitate that journey. So I'm going to be drumming. We're going right into the records. I've been given permission to do this meditation with you. I always ask first. It's going to be very profound. And so that is the set for next month. And remember, everything's 17% off, but that code expires at midnight. So make sure that if you want to buy anything like your tools for next month, that you use code Eclipse, because even your holistic healer discount, the 17% is better than that discount. You got it? You got everything? Okay, cool. So, oh, also, and then you can do both codes today. You can do Eclipse for 17%. You can do Solar to get the free bottle of Clairaudience and the Labradorite. And you can do Cycle to get the free bottle of the perfume for tonight. But like I said, please don't mention this to anybody, because basically what you're getting is $60 worth of free stuff for a $20 purchase, which is pretty great. So it's a good time to get your tools if you haven't gotten it already. Okay? Yeah, so your tools for next month are in the shop. I can put the link in the group for you if you'd like. I know, it's like today's kind of a crazy day, but literally this is just today, because the Clairaudience and the free Labradorite gift, that all ends tonight at midnight. You're welcome. I know. So, okay, so the 17% is code Eclipse. That's your coupon code. And then Solar is to get your free Clairaudience perfume with the Labradorite. And then Cycle is your code to get the free new Cycle perfume. Okay. So let me say this. So there's different kinds of releasing work that we do. And so hear me out on this for just a few minutes. We're probably going to go closer to 6:15 tonight, about 15 minutes over. So I just want to prepare you for that. There's different kinds of releasing work that you can do. When we talk about karmic releasing, one of the main things I want to tell you is you have to really connect with your guides around this, okay? Because half the time we think we know what we need to release, and half the time we really do need direction, input, and guidance from our spirit guides. This is why they are there, okay? This is really why they're there. They're there to support you. They're there to guide you, and they're there to help you truly with processes like this. So sometimes, okay, when you go in to do karmic releasing work, you want to be very careful that you don't try to release karma that you have not worked through yet. This is the ethics of the work that we're doing, okay? Yeah, you guys. Yeah, if you ordered right before, by the way, just send a note to magic@sagegoddess.com, okay? If you ordered in the last like 15 minutes, just send a note to Magic. If you ordered earlier today, they probably won't be able to connect the two, but if you ordered in the last like 10 minutes, just make sure that you email Magic. So what you don't want to do is try to release karma that you have not worked through yet, and sometimes you don't know. And I'll speak to my own kind of situation, okay? So I'm going through a process in my personal work, and this is work that I'm doing with my teachers and work that I'm doing in my own solitary process, where I have to release a lot of karmic energy around religion and structure, especially what I would call established religion, and what I think was probably my resistance to established religion in previous lifetimes. And I think that's why I came through in this lifetime with a whole lineage, especially on my mother's side, where everybody was a minister. Everybody was, very serious Christian practitioner. And so while all of the women in my line have these incredible psychic gifts, each one of us has a different inflection of it. But all of the women in my family are highly clairvoyant, clairaudient, extremely powerful channels. All of the women in my line have had their bodies taken over, okay? Some of them have welcomed it. So my mom used to do automatic writing. I've told you this story many times. That's a process where you actually allow an entity to take over your hand and write on your behalf. And so there's been a lot of the stories I could tell you, right, of how the women in my line have had these incredible gifts, things that would just absolutely blow your mind. And yet, also, they felt this constant conflict between all of that and their Christian roots and Christian practice. For me, what I'm clearing out is all of this energy around conflict, okay? Because what it created is an internal conflict. Does that make sense to you? This is why I truly believe that I sit with autoimmune disease, because my whole family, all the women, all the way, and I'm going to cry when I tell you this, but all the women in my family had these gifts and felt like they had them because there was something wrong with them. And that if they could just believe in God hard enough, or if they could just not do it, or if they could just pretend like it wasn't happening, that they would become better people. Okay, literally that's the narrative of my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and all the way down, okay? So now here I am, I come into this lifetime, I know from the time I was a baby, my stomach was in knots. I screamed for the first year of my life, right, with colic. I've had autoimmune disease all my life. I've had 4 different autoimmune diseases. Like, hi, that's a buffet, right? And I really believe that that's not my conflict. Does that make sense to you? Like, what I'm telling you is pretty fucking profound for me, okay? That's not my conflict. I'm very clear about who I am, what I believe, and my spiritual path. But because no one before me was aligned, no one before me was clear, they've passed all that down, and it sits right down my central nervous column. And that's not fair. And then what's even less fair is I have passed at least one of those autoimmune diseases on to my daughter. Okay, enough's enough, okay? So what I'm doing in my life, and I spend, I will tell you, the teachers that I work with these are not $20 a month classes. I mean, one of the teachers I work with, she's brilliant, but she's $150 an hour. I don't get to see her very often, hardly ever at all. Sometimes I'll take 10 minutes with her because it's all I can afford. It's all the time I have. But I need her on the phone because she's one of the most powerful people in terms of understanding how karma works and how to release karma, right? So I'm doing all this work. I'm investing time and money and intensity of energy to try and fix what's going on in my line, because I recognize that clarity begins with me. I recognize that change begins with me. And if I don't take these steps now, then it's just going to keep rolling down the hill. Do you know what I mean? It's just like that rock is going to keep spinning down that hill until what? Until my daughter has a daughter, and her daughter has a daughter, and her daughter has a daughter, and we keep rolling this forward. So for me, karmic release is about not passing the buck. Does that make sense to you? Is there some place in your life where you are passing the buck? And can you use this work to stop? Because at the end of the day, when you choose not to continue these patterns consciously or even subconsciously, so you guys are identifying this, right? The snowball continues, and your snowball might look totally different than mine. Your snowball might look exactly like mine. And a lot of you are in the same karmic patterns that I am, which is why we all know each other, right? Like, it's no coincidence that we sit in circle together. And it's because I get you and you get me, and we don't even have, this is unspoken. I'm speaking it because some of you may not know me too well yet, and so, all of that. I love it. Shelley's talking about her family, every single person in her family's been diagnosed with bipolar. Hello, that's karma. That is, because what is bipolar? It's the splitting, right, of the consciousness. Bipolar is a long-term effect of, in some cases, of severe trauma and disassociation, right? So again, it's like rolling that snowball down the hill, and how do we stop that? Like, how do we stop that? And we have to stop it. So there's the big karmic release, which is all the snowball in your line and how you're going to stop these patterns, because you're realizing it's really not serving you and it's not serving anybody else. And even if you don't have children, who cares? Stop it for you, right? I know, I wish Prashita was here too, because this is very much aligned with her work and her path too. And Nietzsche too, right? She's a life path 5. It's a good question. She's asking, am I not to work through some major, is that a sign I'm to work through some major karma and not pass it on? Life path 5 people, you have a little more karma than most. I'm not saying it's the worst, but I am saying you have a little bit more than most. Your Pluto position, did you guys do all that work yesterday? I know a lot of you did. Where your Pluto is in your chart also tells you a lot about your karmic work. Where your North Node is in your chart, what sign it's in, also tells you a lot about this. So all of those things, when you put all those those three things together, that's when you really get a clear picture of whether you've got heavy karmic work to do or not. So fives have a particular challenge. The other life paths, not as much. Most people who are interested in the occult and metaphysics have Pluto in the 12th house. That's the position of my Pluto. It's the position of a lot of your Plutos too. And so to find out where your Pluto is, actually, if you go into the full moon group, I put a link, and I did a whole video on Pluto yesterday where you can get your birth chart. And I can follow up and put that link in our sabbatical group too, just because I think knowing all of that gives you better clarity. It's not going to solve any problems for you, but it is going to help you understand yourself a little bit better, which I think is like half the battle. It's funny, most of the people who work here at Sage Goddess have Pluto in the 12th house, we discovered. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, so numerology class is coming, and we're going to get all into life paths and karma and all of that. But suffice it to say, you're starting to get a clear picture of where your karma is and how you're going to need to clear it. So what I was saying was, you're up here with the big releasing, right? Like, we're letting go of generations of stuff. But then down here, there's a smaller release, and that's where I want to start tonight. I don't want to go all the way tonight to the big release. I want to do something smaller, because we are still in this eclipse window, and we are at the very edge of a waxing moon. It's not absolutely the ideal time for releasing work. Our original session was during a waning moon. I had to push us to tonight because of Zoe's health condition. We're fine doing releasing work tonight. I want to do the main releasing ritual, though, during a proper waning moon phase. Does that make sense? Even though still we're not quite waxing yet. We're still right at the edge of that new moon. So what I want to do tonight is I want to talk to you about this process of what I call the minor release. Okay? Tonight is not about letting go of everything that has come through your line. Tonight is about taking one slice, okay? And I feel this so much for you tonight. I really, really do, because this is going to feel good, and it'll dip your toe into the water, so that when we start to do the bigger releasing work, you'll already have a sense of how your body moves through this work, whether you have to go take a salt bath afterward, or whether you feel like you want to fast for a day, or people react differently to releasing work. So I want you to kind of like lean into this a little. Just take a tiny, tiny slice. Yeah, Michelle says she's not ready, for the big release. And so let's do the tiny slice tonight, and then see how you feel. See how you feel tonight. Get lots of sleep, drink lots of water and tea, and hydrate, and so that you are, replenishing, because you're going to be releasing some toxins through the process. You ready? Okay. So I'm sweating too, by the way. I don't know. That energy is being generated in powerful ways. So before we start, I'm just going to open our circle. I'm going to call in all of our guides, ancestors, guardian spirits, all of the guardians of the sacred gateways, bringing in energies of the east for new beginnings, bringing energies of the south for courage, bringing in energies of the west for emotional release, and then bringing in energies of the north for protection and stability. And so opening that container for us this evening, and what I want you to think about is, where is one place in your life? And the way I want you to decide tonight what little slice you're going to do, Maria says she just turned on her fan. Oh, sweet Lola. I see you. Are you ready? Okay. And the way I want you to decide tonight what you're going to work on, what you're going to release, is what is exhausting you right now. Like, if I were to sit you down and look at you eye to eye, which I kind of am right now, and I was to ask you, what is making you tired right now? What's exhausting you right now? Is it a relationship situation? Is it something in your partnership? Is it something with your children? Is it your health? Is it, is it your mother? Is it your sister? What is exhausting you most right now? And I want you to try and just take it down to like just the tiniest slice. So if what's exhausting you is your health, give me a slice. Is it your arms? Is it your legs? If what's stressing you out is your husband, is it how you guys interact together at the end of the day? Or is it how you start your day together? Or is it arguments about money? If it's about your mother, let's take a slice, right? So is it the way your mother, is it something your mother did to you in the past? Or is it a way that your mother's communicating with you now? Or is it that you're not spending enough time together? Ty says it's your brain. All right, so here's Ty's big brain. Give me a slice of that brain, Ty. Like, give me something small that I can work with. Again, if it's money, that's big. Let's reel it back in and say, what is it about money? Is it about worrying about money? Is it feeling like you're overspending money on certain things, or you're not saving enough. Like, what is the one thing that's exhausting you? So Teresa's got it kind of narrowed down. House and foreclosure. Hear that. Day job. Shelley's got her day job. That's small enough. So Shannon's got a few things going. And so Ty brought it down from like, here's my big brain, to overthinking my purpose. Okay, which is beautiful. Do you see how you go from this to this? Jennifer's got it narrowed down to her son's school stress. Stacy's got it narrowed down to clutter, right? It's not her whole life. Stacy's stressed about clutter. So beautiful. Yeah, I want to make sure that I can read all your comments. Sometimes it moves so quickly. If I just know that if I sometimes don't mention something significant, it's because the feed passes me by really quick. But I love you so much, and I don't want to miss any of your sweet comments. So procrastination, husband not saving enough, moving, motivation, wanting myself back, too much on my plate, mom's health, and the fear. I love that. Heather says her mom's health and the fear that they'll become her challenges too. Physical weight, the divorce, feeling unlovable, husband's drinking. Okay. I love it. Cravings. I mean, Suzanne's narrowed it down to a specific craving that is exhausting her. Okay. So when you have your slice, here's what I want you to do. Before we do the releasing work, before we light the candle and do all the work, I want you to think for just a moment about the last ask, believe, receive cycle that we did together, that manifestation cycle. And I want you to ask yourself, and maybe take a moment. I'm still reading a feed, but I want you to take a moment. I want you to ask yourself, is clearing this slice going to facilitate the manifestation of all that work that you did with me over those 3 months? Everything you asked for, and everything you've been believing in, and everything you have, prepared to receive. Both things you have received and things that you will receive. I want you to ask yourself, will releasing this slice create more space for you to manifest what you desire? If the answer is yes, you've got your slice for tonight, okay? If the answer is no, then I want you to reevaluate your slice. And I really let's get really clear before we do this work, because the more clear you are, the more powerful the work is. So let's give it another moment. You got your slice? Because this is how we continue, okay? Nicole, if nothing needs to be released tonight, what I would do, I mean, literally, if you don't need to release anything, what I would do is ask your guides if there is something that they are willing to release on your behalf. Because sometimes they see things that will lighten your load that pass you right by. I've had that experience where I've gone into meditation, it makes me want to cry. But where I've said, I don't even know. Have you had those moments? Like, I don't even know what to set an intention for. Guides, can you please work with me? You know what I mean? Can you please set the intention on my behalf? Scare says on the other side of the spectrum, like, what if you have a lot? Try to find one for tonight. One little thing that would give you comfort. Yeah? We're all hot. I think we're all hormonal. One little thing that will help you create more space for magic and for manifestation in your life. If you could just release the one thing, one little slice of your puzzle tonight, yeah? And it's okay. And it's okay. Yeah, if you're just not sure, ask your guides and call in your guides right now. I've already called in our collective guides, but call in your individual guides and say, guides, I need direction. So Paulette, what we're doing is we're talking about release. And instead of doing the big, huge karmic release tonight, we're going to do that a little bit later with a bigger ritual. What we're doing tonight is just releasing one slice of energy that isn't serving you anymore. And the question that I asked is, what is exhausting you? Because that's a huge clue to you about what you need to let go of, okay? So for me right now, I'll just be honest, and sweet Heidi, her sweet Michael died exactly 1 year ago during our class time. So we see you tonight. I would wish I could just wrap my arms around you. But I see you, and I'm just sending you so much love right now. Tina says, this release will allow me to let go of control so I can relax and learn or lean more deeply into the direction that Spirit's sending me. How beautiful is that? Trixie's got it. Lack of control. Yes, lack of belief. Weight gain, again, slice, right? That will help you manifest more of what you're trying to create. Yeah, Mariah's letting go of a past friendship that's no longer serving her. Performance for approval, which now shows up in the law firm. Absolutely releasing that. That's a nice little slice, right? Hey, Christy, I see you, who she said she cries when she says commitment to herself, right? Okay, so have you got your slice? Your slice is just what you're exhausted by right now, that if you can let it go tonight, just set it free, it will help you focus more on what you want to create. Because honestly, if you learn nothing from me this year except the thing I'm about to tell you right now, I will still feel like I did a good job teaching you. Are you ready? I mean, it really is sort of the crux of the whole thing. In every moment, and I'll repeat this, in every moment, you choose where your attention goes. In every moment, you have a choice about where your attention goes. And so right now, you're choosing to let go of something that's been taking up a whole bunch of your attention. And guess what? Your attention is finite. Your energy is infinite, but your attention is not. Am I making sense to you right now? Your energy is infinite. Your attention is not. You're human, and you only have, 12 hours a day to really focus and to use your will and your force and your energy to create something, right? Yeah? Okay. So when you have your slice, what I really want you to do is close your eyes. For me, it's anxiety. I've just had a little anxiety about my daughter's health, and I feel like, and to be honest, some grief still around the passing of Kelly. I don't know what it was about Kelly's passing, but it sort of plunged me. I have to be careful not to go into that dark place because she was a soul sister, and it was very hard for me to see someone so young and vital pass away, even though we knew she was sick for a long time, and it doesn't matter, right? So that anxiety and that grief that I continue to struggle with kind of on the daily, that's my slice for tonight, because honestly, sometimes those energies are preventing me from being able to focus and do the things that I need to do. Yeah. And here's the other thing to think about. A little anxiety, a little grief is a beautiful thing. Those are human emotions, right? I mean, a lot of us were shaken by Kelly. Those are human emotions, but indulging them becomes dangerous. Okay. I always say it's fine to go and dance with your shadow. You can't live with her. Okay. You can go play with her a little bit, but she'll want to bring you to her lair. And that's a dangerous place for you to be, because the shadow will take you down. It'll take you really down. You can't live there, okay? So you ready? Anxiety and grief, it is for me, whatever it is for you. That's my slice, you know? That's right, Sky. If you live with her, you become her. Well, I struggle with things that aren't fair. And it didn't seem fair for Kelly to go. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Okay. I will say Kelly's passing has given me an opportunity to connect more deeply with people that she was close to and to be able to provide healing. I have sent care packages and love packages and things and created sources of support for people in her network. And it's been a huge gift for me to be able to do that, because that's been a part of my healing. Being able to give something to them in their time of need has been a huge source of healing for me. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to light our release candle. I love these little river rocks. I hope you do too. I know it's simple, but there's something so, when I see these in my garden, it's like I breathe easier. There's something, because I know that we're all walking this path together, and as I add the stones, our path is getting a little bit longer, like we've walked longer together, and there's something really, I'm glad it's enchanting you, because it truly, for me, this has been one of my favorite things I've ever given you. This and the disc with all of the sacred symbols from last year, that big carved wooden disc, those are my two, all the times I've been doing this, those are my two favorite things I've ever given you. Truly, I'm glad you like it too. So I'm going to hold mine. It just feels good, because what I'm releasing tonight is really close to my heart. It's anxiety over my child, and it's grief over a soul sister. And so I'm moving through that. Yeah, I mean, Jackie says 31st will be the 5th anniversary of her mother's death. How do you release the heartbreak that doesn't ever seem to go away? I don't think you do. I don't think, time is a great healer, but you can't ever fully release the heartbreak. What you can surrender is emotions that aren't serving you that come up around it. So you can surrender grief's ability to take you down. You can still grieve, but grief can't get a hold of you. It can't, grief likes to grab you by the ankle. Have you noticed it? And just yank you down. It's like, no, 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 no. I'm still alive. I still have work to do. So, okay. Are you ready? I'm going to anoint with just a little bit more of the perfume. I really want the essence of that right now, because that pomegranate and that lavender I need that. I just need to smell that right now. And I'm going to just hold my morganite because I've been working with this stone around this releasing work all month long. So I'm going to put my morganite under my holder and then put my hand over like that. Okay. And so tonight we surrender this tiny slice of what is holding us back. We surrender this to the guides. We surrender this to the 4 elements. We surrender this to the center of the earth, all of this energy where it can be transformed and transmuted. We surrender it skyward. We surrender all of this to source because these are energies that we can no longer carry. And so it's time to lay this very heavy bucket down. Lay it down, right? And so guides, guardian spirits, ancestors who are in the light, guardians of the sacred gateways, I ask you to come closer tonight. I ask you to surround me and my sisters as we release this tiny slice of our sadness, this tiny slice of our overwhelm, this tiny slice of our anxiety. And name your slice, this tiny slice of weight gain, this tiny slice of insomnia, this tiny slice of overthinking it, this tiny slice of hopelessness, this tiny slice of going too far down into a dark place, this tiny slice of worrying about things I can't control. Yeah, I love that. Jennifer says she described Integra. Yeah, your guides will tell you what you need to work with right now. I love that. Alexandria says, I lost my mom and husband within 2 weeks of each other. You just let go or they never rest. Yes, Heather, this tiny slice of someone else's destiny. Yeah, this tiny slice of whatever it is for you. This tiny slice of not knowing. This tiny slice of not understanding. This tiny slice of betrayal. This tiny slice of procrastination. That's absolutely right. This tiny slice of whatever it is for you tonight. And I ask, guides, that you literally just surround us, put your arms around our shoulders, hold our hands, lift our chins. Help us to remember that we are never doing this work alone. And please bless us as we release all of this tonight, knowing that for me and for all of my sisters, this is probably the hardest work that we have ever done or will ever do. Please bless us and hold us, knowing that for many of us, this is scary. For many of us, this seems absolutely impossible, even though it's a tiny slice. This tiny slice of addiction, this tiny slice of anger, this tiny slice of things we can't control. And so tonight, I'm going to ask for a blessing upon us that I haven't asked for before, but it came to me in meditation as I was preparing this ritual for tonight for you. And so I'm going to speak it now. And I want to remind you that what I'm about to say is something that you can say every night. I say this every night before I go to sleep. And you can say this to God as a prayer or goddess or however you call upon source at night for your prayers before bedtime. So I'm going to say God, but I want you to substitute whatever feels right and good for you. And so God, what I ask tonight is that you grant every single woman in this group, as she releases these slices of her heart, I ask that you give each of us a peace that transcends all peace. I ask that you completely surround our hearts this evening and fill us with the most divine, pure, white light of love. I ask that you relieve us from any anxiety, any fear, any sadness, any sorrow. And just for this moment, and just for tonight, just for today, give us access, God, to the deepest peace possible, a peace that only you can provide. Let us come and sit and rest in your arms like a child as we let go of these things that no longer serve. And if we slip back into old patterns, help us to remember that it's okay to let go, that it's okay to let go, that we wouldn't be going through this. We wouldn't feel the urge to let go if these things were not ready to be removed from us. And we also ask in this prayer and this blessing that if there's any residual work that needs to be done around this slice, help us to do that with grace and then to release. Communicate with us, show us the way, But if we are ready, please relieve us from these slices this evening and bring us the peace that only you can provide. We're calling upon a deeply universal source of peace and compassion tonight, my sisters, that transcends anything that you can possibly bring for yourself. And I'm doing this because how many people in your life look to you to bring them peace? How many people in your life look to you to bring them comfort? How many people in your life look to you as the one who's going to be strong? How many people in your life expect you to always be the one who's not going to cry? How many people in your life expect you to be the pillar, right? And so because of that, I need you to have your cup filled. I need you to feel a sense of peace and comfort and joy that surpasses all peace, that surpasses all comfort, that surpasses all joy. I'm calling that in for you tonight from all of the angels, all of the guides, to just literally surround you tonight and wrap their arms around you. And so as we release tonight this tiny slice of what seems like such a huge pie, doesn't it? It's a big pie, but we're just taking a tiny sliver as we release this tonight. We ask for your blessings. We ask for this peace to surround us in ways that we can only begin to imagine, and that it surround us for at least for tonight and for the days ahead as we move into this next phase. And my prayer ultimately is that you will feel this peace all the way until our next ritual, when we access the Akashics and start to connect to Source. And when you do that, that will be sort of the closing of the loop of this work, because we will, at that point, have better access to and understanding of what our soul path is and why we're here. And so next month, it'll almost be the conclusion of the work that we're starting tonight. And so if you are ready, I know, I'm barely holding on, not sitting here crying hysterically. If you're really ready, and I'm ready, I think I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I have to remind myself sometimes that, letting go doesn't mean that you stop feeling, right? Like, I don't want to let go of that grief for her, because I feel like then she's really gone, This is just a slice. It's just a slice. When you're ready, I'll breathe with you. Are you ready? So all together now. Are you ready? I love you too. And we're ready. And we're ready. I think we're ready. And so it goes. So that goes. I don't know about you, but I literally, like, even just in the seconds since I blew that candle out, like, I feel like there's a huge weight that just got lifted. It's very profound. It's really fun for me when I get to do the ritual with you. Oh, that was hard. That was really hard. Fuck, that was hard. That was really hard. Well, Angela says, I was worried about you releasing that. I think I forgot to release. You have to release. Don't look at me for a minute. Don't look at me for a minute. You have to do it. I'm holding the space for you too. I love you too. And part of what I really love about you and about this space is that that I can do this. I can do this. It'd be really easy for me to sit here and just give you a ritual and say, yeah, go do that, and not do it. But I really want you to know that this is not, this is a work in progress. You're never done. I mean, I've been doing this work for a long time, and I have so much work left to do. You know what I mean? It's just, it never ends. It's not going to end till we end. We've got quite a bit of work left to do. That's right. You are my sister too. I am your sister, and you are my sister too. And I will tell you, I have a blood sister. I don't know if you do, but I do have a blood sister. And I will tell you, the love that I feel for you, for the women in this group, is as powerful as I feel for my own blood sister. Truly. I mean, when you are grieving, when you are mourning, when you are struggling, I worry about you. I'm up at night. I'm checking Facebook. It's like, what's going on? What can I do? I am just as much there. So it's I don't know how. If you ever told me that I would feel that way about some people I'll never meet. Some of you I know, and some of you I get to meet over time, but some of you I probably never will. If you told me that I was going to have that, I don't know that I would have believed you, but it's so flippin' real. I see you too. I really do. I know, right? In some ways more. I think we do sometimes love each other more than our real blood sisters, but that's karma too, right? I mean, we have karma to do with our blood sisters, and sometimes that's not easy to do. Oh, I don't even smoke, and I feel like I need a cigarette. That was really hard. Ooh, that was hard. Okay. And so, Great Spirit, what I'm going to ask is that, because I'm using a single terminated wand, okay? This is what you do with a single terminated wand. Great Spirit, what I ask is that you take all of this energy that we have raised in this beautiful circle tonight. I'm using smoky quartz because it transmutes the energy, right? I'm asking Great Spirit to take all the energy that we have raised tonight and allow us to send it skyward. Everything that we cannot hold that belongs to you, God, we send skyward to Source. And we thank you for relieving us. We thank you for taking these burdens from our shoulders, these things we cannot carry. And then, Great Spirit, we ask that anything that needs to be released to the earth, anything that needs to be grounded out so that we're not holding it in the physical body, we send it earthward. Anything that needs to go into the earth to be transformed, transmuted, we send it there now. And so it is. So it is. Okay. So, how are you doing? It's true. Thank you for making me laugh, Lola. Yeah, Shannon says she's actually riding in a car on the way to Washington Coast. She's going to do this up there. I think that's actually a really beautiful place to do it. I mean, the Pacific Northwest is one of the most gorgeous places to release to the element of water, or the element of earth, for sure, because all of the northern spirits are there. And so there's almost nowhere more beautiful to do it. One of my dear friends and soul sister, Pixie Campbell, lives in the Pacific Northwest, and we talk about that often, about how it's such a beautiful place to surrender the energies, because it can hold the things that you can't hold. Yeah, Rebecca, I hear you. She's got a lot of snot. I'm feeling pretty snotty. I'm going to have to blow my nose after this. You know what I mean? Yeah, Alexandria says, I think I lost 10 pounds with this release. And thank you, Sonora says, and so it is. It's true, and so it is. I see you. I see you, and I love you, and I think you're beautiful, and I think you're really strong and brave. And you're going through some shit right now, but you're not going through it alone. I will walk this road with you, and thank you for also walking this road with me. It's just a really beautiful blessing. And so we open our circle now. Guardians of the gateways, we're so grateful for the energies of stability in the north. We release you. Guardians in the west, we thank you for those tears, as we needed to clear out some stuff tonight, my sisters and me. So we thank you. We release you from the circle. Guardians in the south. This took courage, guys. I mean, there's no two ways about it. This took some real courage for you to say, you know what? I'm not going to release it all tonight. I'm going to release this little sliver. And so thank you for the courage in the south. We release you. And then to the east, the guardians of the east, thank you, because every time we release, it is a rebirth. You know, it allows us to come fresh with new eyes on old challenges. And so tonight, that is the gratitude that we expressed in the East for the new beginning, for the breath, you know, to be able to literally just breathe through the anxiety, breathe through the fear, breathe through the loneliness, breathe through the lack of control, breathe through the struggle in the marriage, breathe through the grief of the parent, breathe through the loss of what you thought you had, you know, and breathing through all of that because you're creating space. I love it. Lola says karmic clutter. Oof, it's a lot, right? Okay, so, and then before we really release all the guides while you remain here in the space, what I would like to ask is, as you bless these sisters tonight, help them to become more focused now on their manifestation. As we finish the early part of harvest, this is the last chance you have. I mean, really what I was writing about today with Maybon, which I'll share with you in a blog or a newsletter coming up, but what I was writing about today is you really only have a couple weeks left. If you are going to do a late harvest, you have a few weeks left to sort of get your ducks in a row and things in order and make sure that you are attending to the last of the manifestation energies of the year. So my wish for you tonight truly is that this last little push, this last little release will actually help you focus more on what it is you're trying to create. Because it's really hard to manifest when you're stuck. And a lot of where you're stuck is in your heart. It's you in the middle of the night laying in the bed, you know, thinking about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. You got to stop that because it doesn't allow you any mental space. That's that karmic clutter that I think it was Lola mentioned. You know, it's like it doesn't allow you any karmic space or any energetic space to really focus on what matters. It's so good. And Nat says, I just realized the desire to be a super mom while being balanced and being me has more to do with losing my son than I thought. And you have to release him. Yeah, I mean, and that's a huge realization, by the way. And part of what I love is when I see like some of your comments here tonight, truly, I love that. Olivia says she feels like journaling for the first time in a long time. I love that. No, Norma, but I'm doing the same thing, right? You know, one of the things that you really have to remember is, like, this is the secret. And this is why people, you know, are held back and they don't manifest what they want to create. And they think, well, did I not set the right intention? Did I not have enough faith? Did I not? And it's like, no, you did all those things. But where's your mind? Do you remember the quote? Remember I told you earlier tonight, if you only learn one thing from me ever, I truly think probably my best offering to you in terms of wisdom is you have a choice in every moment. Like right now, where's your attention? It's on love, right? It's on connection. It's on the beauty. It's on seeing your sisters. That's a generative space to place your attention in. If your attention is on what happened yesterday or that person who cut you off or that betrayal in that marriage or whatever, and it's always there, you don't even have space to create anything new. How would a new relationship come to you? How would a new job come to you? How would prosperity come to you? I mean, there isn't even space. The universe is probably looking for a way in to help you, and it's like, how? And that's why I have become an expert at acknowledging where my blocks are and then being honest enough with myself to say, enough's enough. You know, when I find myself going down that grief rabbit hole every day lately, and it's like, I can't live there. I know how to grieve and I need to grieve, but I can't live there. And when I go down that anxiety rabbit hole of like, what could happen and what might happen, I can go there for a second, but I can't live there. That's not a generative place. Thank you, Lisa, for that. Get out of your own way, right? And so we're getting out of our own way tonight. And I'm really proud of you because you did it in a big way. And you did it with courage and grace. And you let me have an ugly cry for a minute, which I think I needed that. That's right, Scara. Your energy is infinite, but your attention is not. And that's the tough part of the whole process, is recognizing that that's where your humanity shows up, is because you're giving your attention to shit that really doesn't deserve it. And if you can stop that, I promise you everything about your life will change. And I'm not saying it's easy. Thank you, Colin. Colin says, my tears are never ugly. I don't know. There was a moment there where I was like, oh, shit, this is going to go downhill real fast. It's going to be one of Oprah's ugly cries. Yeah. No, it's, yeah. Thank you for letting me show you a little bit of my soul tonight, because that was really special for me. Not easy, but really special. All right, girls. So our ritual is complete. Next month is Connect. And so your tools are in the shop. 17% off, but only till midnight with code Eclipse. And then what are all the other codes? There's Solar for the free Clairaudience perfume and Labradorite. And then there's Cycle for the free bottle of new Cycle perfume. Even I'm getting confused. So I will try to put it in the classroom and make it clear, because there's a lot of different codes and things. I love you, and I thank you for being here and being present to this experience. Now, what I'm going to do, I'll just tell you with my stones. I'm going to put, so I don't always put all the stones around the river rocks in my garden, but these ones I'm going to, because I really had a strong connection to these. I think I'm going to end up gifting my prairie tanzanite. But my morganite, I'm going to actually just put in my bra right now and carry it with me. That's been my go-to stone for the whole kit. So, yeah, nope, no spoilers. I don't tell you what's coming next. It's really fun that you don't know. I like to have a little surprise up my sleeve. So thank you for that. And thank you for seeing me too. It's really special to me. And like I said, I've had teachers all my life who were very strong and never showed me their own challenges and their own weaknesses and stuff. But I always wondered, like, do they struggle too? Are they still learning too? Do they have a process too? And so part of my commitment is to show up completely authentically for you. And sometimes that means I got to do hard work too. But this was a good one, wasn't it? I feel much better now. I really do. And I hope you do too. So with so much love from my heart to yours, I bid you a good night. I'm going to go take care of my sweet little sweet pea who's at home right now. And I will see you guys very soon. So tomorrow night we have Synergy 12 bonus class for GemWise. Cannot wait to talk to you about the Synergy 12. We have Cosmic Comfort before that. And then I think we have class Thursday night too. And then I think Friday night we're off. Friday is my hubby's birthday. So I think that's my one night off from teaching this week. So you're going to see me every night for the next for the next couple of nights. So I will look forward to that. And I'll be in the group a little bit tonight once I get her off to bed, just to check in and see how you're doing and processing the ritual and everything. So I love you with all my heart, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Have a great rest of your evening. I'm so proud of you. We did big, good work tonight, you guys. Aho.